Hello, hello! Today we are talking about the habit that makes your messages sound cleaner. So my question for you today is, what if the only thing muddying your message is one tiny habit? And this is a habit that many of us struggle with. I actually started in Toastmasters to help myself with this one habit, and that is using filler words. So I want to give you an explanation of what a filler word is, and then I'm going to give you an illustration to help you understand more about what I'm talking about. So a filler word is when you I think of it as a glitch, but it may not be. You kind of pause and you're thinking about something, and you might say, like, and, so. These are filler words, and so these are words that can reduce the power of your message. And so I want to use as an illustration your GPS. So the only purpose of your GPS is to get you to where you are trying to go, right? And if it doesn't do that, it's not doing its job. So if you're driving and all of a sudden your GPS is like recalculating, you don't have a lot of confidence in it. And then, of course, we've all heard the stories about how the GPS tells you to drive into a field and then you fall off a cliff or some crazy thing, right? When these types of things happen, it really diminishes your ability to follow what it says because A, it's not telling you anything, and B, you're having to make decisions without the information that it was supposed to be providing you. And this is the same thing that kind of happens with filler words. Filler words, which I've said several of since the beginning of this video, and you can go back and watch them. You use them because you're not quite sure what the next thing is you're going to say. And being not quite sure means it's harder for your audience to trust you and believe you, right? They muddy up your messaging. They prevent you from being able to say all the things that you wanted to say. And so how do you fix this habit and how do you replace it with another habit? Well, the habit that you should be using is pausing. You are allowed to stop talking. You do not have to fill every silence with a word. And that's why we use and so and like, is to fill those silences. But when you're talking about video and you're trying to help someone with whatever it is that you're amazing at, this actually hurts you in so many ways. Number one, it diminishes the likelihood that someone is going to take you as an expert in that area because it seems like you're trying to figure out what to say. And number two, it really hurts you in editing. We've talked about editing the last few days. We have today and tomorrow left on editing, and this is one of the things that I want to point out. When you use filler words, you are eliminating pauses, and the easiest place to edit is in a pause. So if you can get used to if you can make a habit of not using filler words, guess what happens? Not only do you sound more confident and is your messaging more clear, you also make it much, much easier to edit. Yes, joyous childbirth. Sometimes filler words are habitual. I 100% have that issue. When I started with Toastmasters, there were times they would count and I would have 20 filler words in like a 2-minute presentation. That is crazy go nuts. Okay. So yes, that is true. They are habitual, but a habit is something you can break. So that means that if you are cognizant of it, and if you think about it, and if you focus on it, you can change it. And you can take on another habit instead. So start trying to get into the habit of using pauses instead of filler words. And so that is something that you can reset, and it can help you with whether you're So that's our message for today. Your takeaway is you don't have to fill the silence. You are allowed to have a pause instead of a filler word if you need to collect your thoughts or you need just a moment to decide how you want to phrase something. That is totally acceptable. And oftentimes, as we discussed 2 days ago, those pauses can actually add to your message. Because if you need a moment to process something so you can make sure you present it the right way, it is likely that your audience also needs that moment to process what you just said. So getting in the habit of using pauses instead of saying things like, that helps you in so many ways, and it's something that makes you seem more professional and more like an expert in what you're doing. So call to action. Decide where you're going to keep your notes during recording. Consider trying to do short snippets at a time when you're recording a video. Now, on a live, it is a little bit different. When you're presenting in front of a group like Toastmasters, it is a little different. You can't just stop, and read the next line, and then continue moving. That doesn't work. But if you're talking about recording video for somewhere like YouTube, look at your notes. Know the next 1 minute that you're going to say. Present it. Pause. Look at your notes and do it again. This is the same advice I gave you yesterday because this advice works on so many levels. And so today what I want you to know is that it is okay if you are using filler words. However, just because it's okay to do it doesn't mean that you should continue doing it. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't think about how to change it, and doesn't mean that it may not be better for you to do something else. For those of you who don't know, my name is Elise Michelle, and I am a business coach. I very much believe that YouTube is a place that every business owner should be, and I help with YouTube strategy. In addition to that, I help with the back end of your business, with automations, with high level, with your website, all of those good things, because I believe it is my mission in life to help you make business easier for yourself, so that instead of focusing on the business things, you can be focused on the things that make you uniquely able to reach out to your exact audience. And so I want to help you do that through reaching your people with visibility like YouTube, and through fixing your back end so that you're not spending as much time on it. In November, every single year, I do something special. And this year, what I decided to do was to do a 10 to 15 minute lesson every single day from November 1st to November 28th. Today is November 27th. It happens to be Thanksgiving. Speaking of which, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I just ate my turkey just before I got on this live. And I hope that you're having some wonderful time with your family if you celebrate Thanksgiving. If you're catching me live, kudos to you. Drop a hashtag live. If you're catching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And I'd also love to know, what are you doing for Thanksgiving, if anything? Go ahead and share that in the comments as well. But in addition to doing these videos every single day, I also am doing a giveaway. And so each day you come, there is a new link in the description of the video that you can click on and go enter a drawing. You want to do that every single day, because the more times you enter, the more opportunities you will have to win, the more likely you are to be the winner. Then tomorrow, which is Black Friday, November the 28th of 2025, I will be doing a drawing. And one lucky person who has entered this giveaway throughout November will win an entire year of working with me in the Video Biz cohort. What does that mean? It means you can come for 2 hours every single week and ask questions in a group setting with other business owners who are growing their businesses using the same type of visibility that I teach and using the same type of systems that I teach. If you have your own system, that is totally fine. You can still use that and I will help you with it. In addition to that, you get access to all of my courses that are about YouTube and visibility and marketing. And we have a monthly challenge to help you move ahead in your business, and a monthly training to help you move along in your business. And this is based on where everyone is and what it is that we need to learn in our particular walk at the moment. So I hope that you will consider what we've talked about today, which is making an effort to eliminate some filler words, because it does make your message stronger. And also, I just used "and" as a filler word if you didn't catch it, that you would go and enter the giveaway and join us tomorrow to see who the winner is. Tomorrow, there will also be an opportunity to join us as a paid member, and this will be the lowest price that you will see until November of 2026, and maybe forever, because I can't guarantee that I'll have this price again in November 2026. But every year in November, I give my lowest price on my favorite thing, which is the Video Biz cohort. So I hope that you will consider joining us tomorrow. The big discount starts tomorrow, and you will get the link on the 28th. I hope that you'll have an amazing Thanksgiving. Joyous childbirth. Would scripting help with this? So scripting can help with filler words. However, those of us who really struggle with filler words and use them a lot, I just said it doesn't necessarily eliminate that tendency, because like you said, it is habitual. It's a habit. You get used to doing that. I notice that a lot of people whose brains move really, really fast seem to have this problem worse. Now, I can't say that definitively. I'm not a doctor, but this is something that I've noticed. I personally have ADHD. There's also a very high likelihood that I could be autistic. And because of that, my brain has a tendency to do this a lot. It's just like cycling fast, rapid. And I think that part of the reason I use filler words as much as I do is because I use it as a place to think. I need to catch up with my thoughts, basically. So I think sometimes that is the reason. Sometimes it's just more of a habit. You've heard other people do it. There's lots of reasons why people do this. And so scripting can help. But for me, even when I have something that's really scripted, it doesn't necessarily prevent me from using the filler words. I think the thing that's the most helpful for me is actually if it's something that I have taught multiple times over and over again, then I'm a lot more comfortable with it. And that is reflected in how often I use filler words. So are there different ways to manage it? Of course. But the very first thing is you have to know that you're doing it. And so one way that you can figure that out is simply by recording yourself and then watching the video. Count how many times did you say a filler word? And then you'll know. Like that first time that I presented, well, the first time I presented in Toastmasters, I actually cried and had a complete nervous breakdown. I get really nervous speaking in front of people in real life. But the second time I presented in Toastmasters, I had so many filler words, I just couldn't believe it. They were dumbfounded. They were like, this is a lot of filler words, like more than we normally hear at all. And so it's one of those things you have to know that it's a thing before you can do anything about it. And some people will just decide not to. I don't beat myself up about using filler words. It's part of my charm. If you don't like it, sorry. But I am cognizant of it, and I do try to reduce it as much as possible. So I hope that helps. If you have any other questions, please drop those in the chat or in the comments. I do try my hardest to answer your questions when you ask them. Tomorrow is the last day of the training, but all 28 days are going to live here in the live section on my YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch those at any time. I will also be putting out some edited versions as videos over the next probably couple of months. So you can always go back and watch the edited versions if you don't want to hear the ums and the filler words and the random stories that I have to tell. That is all I have for you guys today. I want to thank you so much for joining me on Thanksgiving. I hope to see you tomorrow for Black Friday. And I am so glad that we get to live our dreams together every single day. Joyous childbirth. I also did reply to your email about your thing. So you can check out your email if you have any questions about that. And if I've missed a reply, I probably won't get to it until tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time.